Good day and hope you're all well. I just wanted to drop a bit of a supplemental video in for this week. Inspiration taken from some conversation I've had internally along with colleagues in the industry around Cyber Essentials. Now, as many of you know, Cyber Essentials has been running since about 2014 and was initially created to allow the government to be able to set a standard that their supply chain were doing something around cybersecurity. Cyber Essentials was then a certifying option for all organizations. I think the NHS might have been a very early adopter for their supply chain, but it is now becoming more prevalent in the industry and a recognized certification path. Up until April 2020, there were about 8 certifying bodies for Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus, with then certifying organizations such as ourselves being the next tier down that would deal with clients and get them through the certification path. In April 2020, a decision was made by NCSC and the IASME consortium to basically standardize on a single certifying body, which is now IASME. Some of the key pitfalls that we have come across as an organization with clients under Cyber Essentials is making sure that devices are patched adequately, making sure that there are no legacy operating systems within networks, and making sure that mobile devices are on the latest versions of their operating system as well, and managed through some kind of MDM solution. This is where a lot of clients will basically fall down and potentially not get certified. Where previously you could have a number of non-conformities, typically 2 strikes, and still get certified, IASME have now made it a lot more stringent, whereby if you have legacy operating systems or unsupported operating systems within the network, it's an out-and-out fail. Depending on the size of the organization, the infrastructure you have in place, the setup and segregation between offices, you can potentially make the scope just of a single network. It is possible. It's a bit difficult, it's a bit convoluted. We can help in helping you set that up. But it is possible that if you are running legacy devices and they can be segregated accordingly, that you can still attain the Cyber Essentials Plus certification. Other considerations to be made at the moment are home workers. It has been that unless you're running a VPN, an always on straight tunnel, no split tunnel VPN, that you would only be able to, that you only had to have the end user's device in scope. That kind of altered earlier this year, I believe, and also then included the routers for home devices, which, depending on the size of the organization that you are, could cause a serious nightmare, in that you have now got hundreds of routers that you would have to manage and make sure that they were updated, firewalls set up, passwords changed, etc., etc. IASME again have changed things ever so slightly in their latest release, in that as long as the client device has a host-based firewall, that will suffice, because it's still protecting anything that's going to be behind, with a VPN tunnel then from that device back into the corporate network. Again, as I mentioned before, one of the other pitfalls that we find is mobile devices that are on unsupported operating systems, or mobile devices being used by corporate members with no mobile device management on those devices. If those devices get stolen, lost, whatever the case might be, that's a serious breach in data security. So make sure that you implement a proper MDM solution, something like Intune, or a plethora of other ones that are out there. The other consideration might be actually whether those mobile devices are required to have corporate data on them. A number of organizations that I've been working with recently have actually switched off email on mobile devices, based on the fact that everybody is working remotely at the moment. You will have access to a laptop or a desktop for your emails. So why do you need to have the emails on your mobile phone as well? What that does is it kind of twofold. One, it gets around the IASME requirement for checking those devices and having those devices in scope. You will need to include them in the original Cyber Essentials scope but they can be quickly de-scoped from the Cyber Essentials Plus based on the fact that you won't have email on them. But secondly, also from a mental health perspective, you'll be doing your staff a favour by not having their emails permanently on, pinging them during the weekend or on evenings outside of business hours. I think we're all under enough stress at the moment not to have to worry about also dropping emails, replying to emails during the weekend. So I know that there are a number of Cyber Essentials videos out there at the moment, all telling you about all the different key stages of Cyber Essentials, but I hope that this one has been informative about the changes that are coming and things that you need to be aware of. Again, I hope it's been of use, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.